Whether you're new to pool and practicing the basics, or a more experienced player performing drills to improve your shot making and positional play, the Drill Partner is perfect for you.
Well, we made it. It's another afternoon edition of Dogging It, and this is one that I've been looking forward to for a few days now. It's been an exciting week of pool over the last, for years now, it seems like, but more importantly, the last few weeks have just been pretty exciting off the table, as much as looking forward to all the things that are going on the table. So tons of events, and most recently there was a lot of Matchroom WPA stuff going on, but there's also European Open that's going on. So we got tons to discuss with the guests that I'm about to bring on. She's definitely been on more than Joey as of late, but she's here joining us via Fulda, Germany. Emily, how are you?
Hello. Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. I'm in the arena. Players are practicing. Do you want me to give you a little spin?
Absolutely, yeah. Give us the rundown there. It's looking pretty good.
So I'm currently sat at our table one. Some guys here.
I'd
But
imagine security doesn't give you a hard time for just setting up camp right there in the middle of the TV arena.
no, although we did kind of make a bit of a mistake as to which table was what. So they're actually re-rigging some of the cameras. So I have to promise the crew some beers tonight.
There you go.
In my heart, we had to change it. We had to make it right. So if I have to move at some point, it's because I'm in their way.
No worries.
But
You
yeah,
guys,
we're really
you guys
excited.
were there a year ago. What's the atmosphere like? What's the energy like? How are you guys upping your game from 12 months ago out there in Fulda, Emily?
Well, I guess, we were here for the first time last year. It was a great event. We had such a good reception for the weekend. I was overwhelmed with the amount of spectators that turned up, and I was trying to speak to them all, asking them where they're from, because obviously for us it's the first time doing an event in Germany on under our team. And they were saying, I drove 3 hours to get here, I've driven 40 minutes, and next year, as long as I know the dates in advance, we can book off the holidays. And so that's why we wanted to get our dates out there really quickly, get the tickets on sale. So we're expecting a really good reception at the weekend, which is exactly what these events should be. When we're taking these open events and putting them in Fulda, putting them in Spain and Lugo, they shouldn't just be empty. We should be going to places where there's fans, where there's demand. So the city have been really great in hosting this for us. There's banners everywhere. I went out for a run earlier this morning, and there's just banners all dotted around the place. So I'm sure even if a random person's walking along, like, I've seen this guy in like the coffee shop or something. It's just on this banner. But no, I think we're going to have a great turnout, and I'm really excited for it.
What's the morale like with players that have coming in from all over the place, and just this calendar that seems to be just one after another? How are their spirits? How enthusiastic are they, just given the way that things have been going over the last 12 months, Emily?
Well, there was 57 different nationalities in the European Open. So 57 nationalities represented and 256 players. We opened registration at 4 o'clock today. No joke, if you haven't seen my Instagram story, go on it now. You can see there's a massive queue that was outside. Because, look, we're making this professional. You can't just run in here and out to a table and come into practice. We've got to check you in.
Right.
You get wristbanded, your guests, you get your tickets. If you've got to make sure that if your kid's coming, that whether they're in a junior event or something like that. So it's quite a process. So the players are all queued up outside, and there's like FSR's text me, and he's like in the queue right at the back, and he's texting me a picture. He's like, oh my gosh. And I went out there, I'm like, I can't push you to the front, this is a queue.
World number one. There's got to be some like 1 through 10 preferential treatment. Exceptions can be made.
No. I don't know. Look, everyone, the guys who arrived dead on 4 o'clock, they got in early, and I just think it's fair. Everyone queues up. It's how it is. I was saying, like, I don't know if you know it, but like priority queuing, I should get like a 50 quid or something and stand out there and push into the front for a sight.
Listen, a little jelly.
I would never do
a little
that,
jelly. Listen, rather than sweating your ass off outside, I may fire 50 just to get back in that AC. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So
I promise you I would never do that. But no, it's really cool. The energy just seems like you're in this arena. And I was watching when some of the players were coming in, and you watch like Fran, and he was going over to like Fedor, and some of the players were all together. And some of the players haven't seen one another in this environment, and it's like they all come together, and they're all happy to see each other. It's the lights are all going around, and obviously we've got like the music happening in here. It's just a really cool vibe, and for everyone to just get relaxed ahead of tomorrow. Really, I love it. You're in here and you can just bounce off of the players' energy. They just seem really excited, and they look at the TV arena and they're all saying, I want to be in that centre grid when I come to the last 16. I want to make the last 16. If I'm walking into this arena, I'm looking at that centre table with that trophy going, oh, I'm getting to the last 16. I'm going to be in it.
Do you still get shit from some of these guys who say, hey, how come I can't get on there more? How come I'm not playing more TV tape? Or do they realize like, hey, you kind of have to play your way here. You gotta make a name for yourself to get on these TV tables.
If they're talking shit, they're not doing it to my face. It's pretty fine.
Oh man.
Look, there's 256 players and there's 2 streaming tables, and there's 6 matches a day. Do the math. You can't get everyone on here. I would say that probably early on in my days, I probably wasn't very good at that sort of element. As in, we didn't really think about it. We always just thought about who the top players were. However, now, when we schedule the live stream matches, that's a conversation that gets discussed in the team. It's not just one of us picking it or me picking it. We all sit down and we discuss it. I come up with my top matches, Jake does it, Matt does it, Brendan does it, and everyone sits there and they talk about it and they go, this is a TV-worthy match. Everyone has different opinions. But also, we've now got TV broadcasters that are taking the live stream. We have to take that into consideration. It's not just the YouTube. It is actually TV broadcasters taking those 2 streams. So we are very mindful about it now, and a lot more so than we have been in the past. And look, you play well, and you're a personality. You're coming into the table. Look, you've got to remember, it's a TV show at the end of the day. So we try to be as fair as possible. But yeah, I want to see more faces. I want to see new contenders. I love it. New faces. It would be brilliant. And that's what this tour's about. Inspiring new players to come to these open events.
Well, there's a big opportunity now for especially these Europeans, given the news that came out like a month ago when it comes to Clint. I saw his name on the list, but obviously he won't be playing. But there's going to be a spot opening up for someone to kind of take, an opportunity to join the top 3 because of him not making it out there. Am I right in understanding that, Emily?
Say that again. What you mean on Catchy for?
Yeah. Given his position, I think he was ranked number 2 currently on the money list. But seeing as how he won't be playing, there's a chance for some of these other lesser named players to kind of go and take a spot or take control.
Exactly. If I'm playing and I see like someone like Catchy's not coming, I'm thinking, great, that's one less like huge talent that I don't have to knock down, sort of thing. So I'd love to see a variety of winners. I just think that all of these different homes, they produce their champions. But again, there's so many good players in this. Good is a very horrible word for me to use. There is exceptional talent within this tour, and it's hard not to want to root for so many of the players to get their trophy. But all I can say is that everyone's time will come. When the timing is right, they will take the tournament down. But there's a tough field in this week, and I never like to guess who's going to win because A, I've got no idea, and B,
that question's coming for sure. Don't get me wrong, that question's coming. But let's get some of the other formalities of the event out of the way before we get into the fun stuff. So, event starts tomorrow. Fun? Oh, you know. Give me some details about the event, how fans can watch, how many players, how many tables, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so we've actually got 26. Oh, for goodness sake, I forget all the times. 26 or 24 tables in here. No, we expanded it so we could play more matches. So you've got 26 tables in here. We've got the 2 live streaming tables, so table 1 and table 2. Throughout the entire duration, those 2 tables are available on YouTube. That's on Matchroom Pool and Matchroom Multisport YouTube channels. Table 1 obviously has the commentary, which is on Matchroom Pool. If you are in the USA, it is DAZN for the entire week. So it's not YouTube and then switching to DAZN. You are in DAZN for the entire week if you're in the US. In the UK, it's Sky Sports and for the final last 16. There's JJ. And and it's really accessible here, which is great. We're on Sport 1 in Germany for the last 16 as well, which is, on in the TV rooms. So we're really excited about that one. But yeah, if you're ever unsure, always go to Matchroom Pool social media or Matchroom Pool website, and that details exactly where to watch for the European Open.
Lots of other news. Lots of other news is going to be released this week, including the number 1 picks for both teams, respectively, Team Europe and Team USA. And then I also heard that we're going to have some captains' picks announced sometime soon, end of the week-ish.
Yeah, end of the week, I would like to say. They're locked and they're loaded in.
So do they know already? Do the captains know that they're going to be on there?
I don't know what I should answer because I feel like it's a trick question.
If so, I'm going to start sending out some messages right away. Yeah, if they know.
I swear. If you manage to find it out and you leak it, that is it.
Is when you tell these people, some news it's going to be released later, is part of what you tell them, make sure and don't talk to me. Is that mentioned in there? Whether
no, not at all. I think they all know by now that what our aim is and what we like to do, and by increasing the excitement and sparking all of that excitement around these things, that everyone gets excited about who the captains are. So if they I'm sure they'll keep it to themselves, but yes, they are both aware.
All right, well, let's jump on in. All 4? Wait a minute, 4 of them. Are you messing with me right now? Here we go. Now you got my wheels spinning. All right, let's jump into the fun stuff. So news came out earlier this week. You guys announced the launch of this is a tongue twister, World Professional 9-Ball Pool Corporation. So break it down for the layman, Emily. What changed from, let's say, last Friday till today in terms of what the players can expect, what the fans can expect? What difference in the sport has been changed over the last week?
It's a very good question. And look, we're really excited about this announcement. And before I go into anything, I just want to say we have had an overwhelming response from the players and fans regarding this announcement on Friday and over the weekend. I've actually been very, very overwhelmed about the response that we've received from the players. It's more motivating that the players seem to be getting from it, is that I think I touched base on it on the video slightly, is that it's been like the Wild West for quite some time. And now the formation of the World Professional 9-Ball Pool Corporation, yes, it is a bit of a tongue twister, but we thought we'd just catch your eye with it. The brand still comes under as the World 9-Ball Tour, still the 9-Ball brand, but the World Professional 9-Ball Pool Corporation is a structure. That is the foundations of the future. So yes, for a long time we've been speaking about the launch of the World 9-Ball rankings. Yes, we've been speaking about more events. However, this brings everything under one umbrella. A lot of things have been happening in the background in terms of ranking events. When it comes to the ranking events, it's not a case of someone emails in and kind of gives a bit of brief information on it and we sign it off and it is approved. There's a lot more responsibility on us as Matchroom for a professional tour as to what we do approve when it comes to ranking points. Within this company structure, that also now sets up more of a structure on their side on the rankings. So they follow a set of rules that they're expected to deliver a suitable event, that they're expected to maintain the integrity of the sport, but they come with us. We help them, we guide them. There's so many questions that come from these promoters, and I don't blame them. It's difficult hosting an event. It's challenging. It's financially difficult as well, and they've got so many questions, and we're here to answer those questions. So, as part of this new company, it's a case of building that, but also that's just one part of it. So if you try and think about all the tiny things that we've been working on, it's about bringing that all together under one umbrella of a powerhouse team that know all about this already. They've experienced it already in different sports. So that's the thought process that's behind it. In answer to your question about what's changed, it's the motivation as well that we've seen from the players and their reactions that have come out of this announcement. They are now looking ahead and saying, I've got a future. I have got a huge future. I mean, if that's me, I'm ranked 130 on the rankings. I'm sitting there going, well, I want to make it into the 128, because now I know that I've been told that I have a future now in the world, in this world tour. I've got this establishment set up. So it's very early stages still. I appreciate that. Things don't happen overnight, but it's us making this commitment and putting pen to paper and forming the foundation, or building the foundation for something that's going to be great.
We've seen a bigger calendar from you guys over the last year. It seems like new events are coming out all the time, which is a good thing. But it also comes with a lot of added financial pressure for some of these players. Emily, what does the future look like as far as you guys shouldering or taking on, just pushing to get more sponsors to make these events, or these majors especially, be more lucrative for some of these players that are going to be out there competing?
Do you mean our events, or the
Right.
ones that we're
More specifically y'all's events. Yeah.
Well, I think, look, we do these open events, right? And it's $200,000 guaranteed.
Right.
And I understand that there are expenses involved. I understand that there's an entry fee, but when you look at the size of the entry fee and you look at what we're guaranteeing, these are the first time that these events are happening. So you look at the European Open Fordham, it's the second year of the event. It's the second year of it taking place. We are putting up $200,000 regardless of who turns up, regardless if any withdrawals happen, or regardless if, I don't know, the shipping trucks get stuck somewhere and it costs an extra 50 grand. We guarantee that prize money, but we're also guaranteeing worldwide television exposure. So whilst people are sitting there and saying, okay, year 2, your prize money hasn't increased in your open fielded events. Well, what I say to that is, no, our television exposure has increased. You win one of our tournaments, your exposure increases tenfold in comparison to what it did a year ago, 3 years ago, or any other tournament on this planet that is not a matchroom event. Because, like I've just said, starting off on the European Open, we've got broadcasters taking the live stream now. What a journey that we're on. We were in a moment where it was just the Whirlpool Masters, 3-day event, and we're taking those shows. The Moscone Cup, they were taking those 4 days as well. Then we launched these open events, and smaller broadcasters were taking the last 2 days. Now all of a sudden we've got more of a calendar, we've got more open events, and they're actually picking up, like DAZN are taking the full week. That's because we've increased our production. So if you look back at the US Open year 1, when we did that at Mandalay Bay in Vegas, and you look at the level of production that we put into that in comparison to what we're doing now, and even last year's at the US Open. So I would say that it's the players' exposure and how much that they would see when they win one of these events, even when they reach the last 16, even when they play a phenomenal shot that goes viral. So yes, prize money is a major thing for us. We just saw it with the Moscone Cup for
increased, right, this year?
Yeah, and the reason was because we are seeing the revenue come through on the ticket sales. So we looked at it and we said, yeah, the players should be rewarded. So let's up the prize money. So we will do it.
What is that going from and to? Because I think it was 20 and 30, right? 20 to the losing team, 30 to the winning team. Is that right?
Oh, 20
Per
and
play?
40.
Oh, is that what
So
it
it was?
Okay.
It was 15 and 30, so now it's
There we go.
20 and 40. But the captains also get that as well. So we treat the captain as a player now. So the captain is on the same. So yes, I respect.
Oh, wait a minute.
That
So
players
if you're the winning captain on Team Europe, you're getting
you're getting
40?
chunks. You're getting chunks.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's why
How
it's such a big
how
bloody decision.
how can we apply?
I'm going to do it. No.
Yeah.
Look, it's so I respect that players have expenses, and
Yeah.
look, when we go to these cities and we go to these new locations, we try our utmost to make sure that there's a player hotel rate. We don't get anything from that. That's that we get them the same rate that we pay for all of our staff. We don't have to do that. They're gonna travel and come and play in our events regardless because it's the only television exposure that they can receive.
But
But we should be making it easy for these players along the way. So, in the future we want to cut the entry fees, and the fact that we dropped the entry fee. I think our US Open was obviously a lot higher, and when we did the European and the Spanish Open, they're all 250 entry fees. So I look, I don't give us a hard time on the guaranteed prize money. I think it's still early doors. There's a lot more going into it that isn't the prize money. The television exposure is a huge, huge thing, and I would just look at whoever wins a tournament. Look at their social media following within 1 week afterwards, and look at how much more exposure they get when they go home because it's everywhere. We turn them into superstars, and the whole point of the World Professional Nine Ball Pool Corporation is to make them mainstream. So they're not just superstars in pool, they're superstars in the world.
So we're seeing more broadcasters pick up the events, which is awesome for everybody across the board. And I know you guys are playing the long game. It's just more so asking questions that I think are a lot on people's heads right
Yeah, that's
now.
fair enough.
You know,
Fair enough.
but let's chat more about this Nine Ball Corporation. Let's talk about the integrity unit, for example. So,
Yeah.
what steps are being taken? Because in years past, the WPA handled drug testing and things like that. How proactive are you guys when it comes to drug testing players, and to what extent, or what's that process like on the back end?
Yeah, as far as we're concerned, we look to do drug testing at all of our matchroom pool events, and think that we were the first ones that actually turned around and implemented it because from our experience on the snooker events, and we were questioning why we weren't doing it. So we're very, very focused on setting up the sports integrity side of obviously Nine Ball. So to start off with the independent unit, we're looking at that the players need to be educated at the end of the day as well. It's not about coming in, and I kind of want to compare it to the break rule. If they're not using a forceful break, we're not here to penalise the players. We're here to educate them. So we want to be able to tell them, look, this is what's happening. Everyone knows that they should expect drug testing when it comes to a matchroom pool event now. We are trying to the World Nine Ball Tour ranking events, we're also trying to push them to their integrity side of things as well. So there should be drug testing. It should be all there everywhere, but it should be consistent throughout the events. But it's also important to note out that an independent unit. So something that snooker and darts do very well, it's an independent, disciplinary management. We at Matchroom, look, we're sports promoters. We are very good at promoting a sport, and we will take Nine Ball mainstream. We will do that. But we don't want to be the judge, jury, and executioner. It's about setting up the right structure so there is a correct disciplinary management in place. And again, like I touched base on, it is early stages of the professional tour. However, we are looking at the darts and we are looking at the snooker, And these things are being set up in order to ensure that it's just fairness for the players, just things to be fair. They shouldn't be penalised. If there's an argument or on site or anything like that between two players, that should go to an independent unit. So these are all things that we're learning from our sister companies. And the formation of this independent company is about how that moves forward and how that structures.
How does it work to kind of be the bad guy, where before in years past the WPA kind of wore that hat where it's like they're going to be the ones to take the drug test, they're going to be the ones to enforce the penalty? How is that going to work within the 9-Ball Pool Corporation? Are you guys going to be taking care of that in-house, or is that just kind of something that you're going to see as it kind of comes along and we're still trying to figure things out on that end?
Well, sorry, I may not have communicated what I just said well enough, but it's independent.
Okay.
So we don't want to be the judge, jury, executioner.
I got it.
We don't want to handle. We should handle that to experts, and so that's the point of this new. So before, like what we were saying with a lot of things, everything we've been doing behind the scenes anyway. We've been doing independent drug testing, but it's about setting the foundation so an independent unit can take care of that. So it's not Matchroom. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, absolutely. That makes 1,000,000% sense. Let's go to the player advocates, because that was mentioned also during this. And you mentioned Jeremy and Carl. What role are they going to be taking on to kind of be that liaison between complaining pool players and Matchroom and you guys?
Well, I think it was one of the players said something where, I didn't really realise it before, but I've always said, look, if you've got a problem, just come to me and talk to me about it. By the way, if a player is ever upset or unhappy about anything, it would make me feel so much happier that they come up to me and come and shout at me about it, rather than anyone else in my team or anyone else on the floor. I want them to come to me and if they're unhappy, come and tell me, like come and express it to me, because if they're also unhappy, it means that they're passionate. And if they're passionate, it means they want to do well. This is their career. And it's not up to us to just shoo them away and say, no, we're the promoter, whatever we say goes. Yeah, in situations, you've got referees in place in their positions because they are brilliant at what they do and that is their job. And so we have everything put up so they can handle those situations. So what I was trying to touch base on is that I was always open for players to come and speak to me, but sometimes players don't want to come and talk to me. They don't want to come and express to me what the situation is. They actually may find it a lot easier to communicate with someone like Jeremy or someone like Carl. They may find it easier to communicate with them. So the reason why we went down the route with Jeremy and Carl is because they're ex-players, so they're not currently on tour. And so there's no bias about it. So they're not going to change the way that they think or they say because they're playing on the tour. They are very much ex-players. We also went down the route of them two because they are the extended team of Matchroom. So they're not the Matchroom, employees. As much as everyone thinks that it's like a dictatorship, it very much isn't. It's an open team, in multi-sport. But for everyone to see and for players to see, Jeremy and Carl have their own minds and they have their own opinions. And when a player talks to them and they either agree or they disagree, they come to us and they talk to us about it. And then there's been so many situations where Carl will come in and, I'm going to say this to his face, but he'll come in and he'll be like, why have you not done it like this?
Yeah.
Why are you doing it like that? And I'm like, hang on a second, take a seat, let me explain it to you. And I'm like, and I pull up a plan, I go, like this, and that. And this is why we don't do it. Oh, yeah, well, that kind of makes sense. I'm like, yeah, it does. But the thing is that he knows how to communicate that to the players, but also it works the other way. He can sit me down and say, Emily, I'm not sure about that. And I'll be like, okay, talk to me about it. Tell me why you're not sure. He goes, well, the player would be seeing it like this. And I agree with them. And because Cole and JJ aren't playing on the tour, They don't have the biasness. Whereas if a player who's playing in the event now comes up to me and says, I don't like how you're doing this, you have to do it like that. You always think in your back of your mind,
is he trying to gain an edge?
Yeah. Of course, and these are players at the end of the day. I'd always be trying to gain an edge if I was playing. Whereas JJ and Cole are totally removed from the situation. They will be able to present a more fair opportunity for it. So look, I think they're both great contenders for this. And they are going to be travelling to a few of the pool events, and more JJ in the US and Carl obviously on Europe, to just judge really like how they're going. Mike Peloso called me on Friday, and he said, a few players weren't happy about this ranking event. I said, this is the first I've heard of it. Pick up the phone, call JJ. Pick up the phone, call Carl. And if you really want to, pick up the phone and call me and tell me. So the communication is there and the door is there. I'm saying it is open all the time. It's never going to get slammed shut in your face. We will always listen. There's always a reason why we do something. And I'm always open. I'm not saying we get it right every time. We don't. We're learning. We're building a professional tour.
Yeah, so you got 50 plus events. So I think you've done a pretty good job building it.
Yeah, it's been a little bit tough, but we are all learning along the way. Honestly, we really are as a team, and it's a challenge, but it's so exciting. I love it. So I would just say that's JJ and Carl's role, and I open and I welcome the players to come and talk to us about any concerns.
So they're good candidates for player liaisons. Are they good candidates for Mosconi Cup captains?
You cheeky sod.
Let's continue moving on, Emily. Let's talk about gambling in pool for a little bit. So that was another thing. Is that something when it comes to this integrity unit that's going to be handled outside of the World 9-Ball Pool Corporation? Is looking into some possible infractions going to be looked at by you guys, or is that going to be in-house?
No, it's an independent as well. So that's what we're setting up. So again, it's about educating the players, what they should and shouldn't be doing. I'm sure that a lot of players, they're not silly. They're across the Q Sports. They've seen what's happened in snooker, and and the WPBSA have done a phenomenal job with how they've been monitoring and how they've handled that situation. Because at the end of the day, when you lose the integrity of the sport, it's game over. It is game over. And I'll tell you firsthand, coming into 9-Ball Pool, my biggest challenge was trying to get real like commercial sponsors in 9-Ball, because the response was, it's money matches, it's this, it's that. So it's really important to us, and that's why the foundation of this company has been set up, because we want to maintain the integrity of the sport. So again, I go back to what snooker and what darts are doing and what they have done. Again, it's about us seeing what they have done and us applying it to 9-Ball, so we can obviously work on the same thing. So look, it's all an independent integrity unit. That's what is being set up.
Are you guys still like actively hoping that these books, whether they're in Europe or otherwise, are still continuing to push lines for your guys' events? Whether it's match lines or outright win lines, or those things that you guys are happy to see as the sport continues to evolve?
Yeah, sometimes the odds have been a little bit fishy, haven't they?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, times. Yeah.
But I think it's just early stages of the sport, and it's early stages of everything really, because there never really was betting odds on the events. So it's certainly something that we're also trying to push, because we're also pushing the integrity of the sport. These are professional players. Like, we go back to my first ever US Open event. We had guys turning up in jeans. We had guys turning up in caps. Last year, 2 years ago at the US Open, I think someone turned up in like a trilby cap. So it's
you had a guy the last event show up in a Darth Vader outfit. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but that's TV though, isn't it? So it's a little bit different. But it's about the overall professionalism of the tour. You know, it's we were expecting people to tune in and, you know, setting odds for matches that were never on TV.
Right.
So we're talking about global exposure. We're talking about professionalizing the players. They look smart. They know their interviews are so much stronger. Look at the players' interviews. Look at FSR, his first ever interview with us. Look at how he talks now. He's a spokesman for the sport. He's inspiring the next generation of players with the FSR Junior Open. That's all stuff that we are building. I say it every time. All of the top 64 players have a blue tick on Instagram. I wonder who did that. You know what I mean?
What?
Jake's worked his absolute nuts off trying to get all of them blue tick and verified. That's for their professionalism. That's for everything. So to go back to the formation of the World Professional Nine Ball Pool Corporation, it all comes under this umbrella. Everything that's kind of been working behind the scenes, it's all bringing it in together and professionalizing it. So the odds will get better as more pool is on TV, and that's only going to happen through our channels, which we are pushing a lot more.
Yeah, it's been a lot to digest over the last week. You know,
Sorry.
are all no, it's great. It's been great. Are all these things just like steps and the foundation to like just blow this thing out of the water? You know, is that the goal here over the next few years?
To be honest, it's the goal is to make the sport mainstream, and the goal is the best opportunities for the players. That's our goal. So how are we going to do that? Okay, well, we're going to have to do that by bringing everything else into it. Do you really think that we'd like to set up all of these different things? It's a lot of work,
It's a
but
lot of work. Yeah.
it's vital. It's vital and it's integral to do that, to set up this tour. You know, it's a professional tour. It's a fully professional tour. So there's only one goal, and it's making these players famous. It's making them mainstream, because with that they will become, you know, there will be more prize money, there will be more events. It will get to the point where they can pick and choose. You know, Judd Trump, he chooses not to go to the snooker shootout, for instance. He picks and chooses what the different events that he wants to I say work on, to participate in. So for us, it's a global professional tour, and we learn along the way. The foundation is here. We've got a company of powerhouses that know exactly what they're talking about, that I want to learn from every day. And you got Barry Hearn. I mean,
That
what
guy's the
more could
most
I ever want in
charismatic dude
life?
I've ever met in my life.
Honestly, what more could you want
Yeah.
in life?
Yeah.
When you've got Barry Hearn behind a sport, it's motivating, it's inspiring, and he's so knowledgeable as well. So many different things, you know, that he experienced early days with the Moscone Cup. And, you know, when you're bouncing ideas off of Eddie and you're bouncing ideas off of Matt, who runs the Professional Darts Corporation, and then you've got Steve Dawson on the World Snooker Tour. Look at those successful people in those companies, and look at those sports. So if I'm a pool player right now, I'm looking at it and going, look at my future.
Give some perspective to fans, Emily. Like when you guys mentioned the snooker and the darts, you know, what were those early days like for as you guys were growing those sports? You know, were there days where you guys wanted to toss it in? I mean, how tough was it to kind of climb up that hill to build it to what it is today?
Well, unfortunately, I can't talk too much onto it, because, you know, at my time in Matchroom, they were coming across those kind of challenges a lot before me. And that's why you've got people like Barry and you've got people like Steve who can sit there and talk about it. And, you know, Barry remembers so much about the darts. But I tell you now, they came across so many challenges, because we sit and we talk about it. They did come across challenges and they overcome them, because they look at what's best for the players, and you're looking ahead and you're looking for the future. But also, it's different in different sports. You can't just automatically think, you know, if it works in snooker, it's going to work in pool. They're two different fan bases, and they're two different types of players as such. So I can't speak. I mean, Barry would literally tell you so much stuff, I'm sure.
I'm gonna call Matt.
But I
I'm
can't
gonna
really.
call Matt to
Yeah,
get Barry on.
yeah, you should do.
Yeah, that's gonna be the plan this week. Let's talk the WPA, Emily. Oh, actually, before we get to WPA, let's talk tour cards because that was something that was mentioned as well. And I want to just ask you point blank: are these tour cards gonna be something where if you're playing matchroom only events, that you're gonna be only specific to matchroom events, meaning you can't play outside matchroom events? Is that something that is even on the table, discussed at all with players, or give me what's behind getting these players to have tour cards?
No, tour cards and restrictions are two totally different things. So it's best to not, muddy the waters in that
Right.
respect. I want to be totally, totally clear for everyone. It is not our intention to restrict any players, and we have no intention of restricting the players. Pick up the phone, speak to Joshua Filler. Joshua Filler, as soon as he wants to play in the Euro Tours, China Open, Qatar Open, play whatever you like, Josh.
Yeah.
We're gutted and we're disappointed that they're not part of the World Nine Ball rankings. Of course we are. I'd love to have them on the rankings, but that's life. That's fine, and they're not. We hope that these events are for moving forward. But if you want to play in them, cool, go and play in them. That's just how it is. There's no restrictions from our side, and you can speak to the players yourselves to just find that out. They're asking us, "Oh, Qatar Open." Fine.
Is that a concern that you're hearing from players though? Is that something that's been brought up or even worried about by them?
No, I think when the official announcements came out, they said to us their first question was, "Is this a ranking event?" So when a 9 ball tournament gets announced, the player's first question is this a World 9 ball ranking event? Because that's what matters. Yeah, prize money is a huge thing, but don't underestimate the ranking points. Don't underestimate a fully professional tour, because those ranking points, they get you into the events, and it's a clear qualification system and it's a clear structure. And also, don't forget about what happens when you get into the Whirlpool Masters. Look what happens at the exposure you receive. Look what happened to Copenhagen when he won the Whirlpool Masters. The exposure he received back home. So for us, it's the question from the players is this a ranking event? No, it's not. Okay, cool. Oh, yes, it is. Here's the details for you to sign up. That's how the conversation goes. You want to play in it? You go play in it. It's fine.
All right. Well, let's talk WPA.
I didn't answer the other question that you said.
What was the other one? I don't even know. I'm losing. I got like a whole list here in front of me.
No, you said something, and then you said, "Oh, the tour cards." The tour cards is, to just give you a bit of context, in snooker and in darts, the tour card system is basically when you turn from amateur to professional. So you get your tour card. So that's how it is in those two sports. For us, the tour card system is an early thought where, for instance, our open events, guaranteeing the top 128 in the rankings are in the open events. That's your early stages of a tour card system. Do you see what I mean? To make sure that it's not just the luck of the draw to get in. So when I talk about tour cards, that's the element of it, not in a case of restrictions.
Well, I appreciate.
But the tour would be so big that you wouldn't be able to play in anything anyway. That's how the calendar is.
The calendar's blowing up to be that thick from top to bottom. It seems like, and it's not. It doesn't. And this is like on a year where things kind of get added in. I can only imagine what's in store for next year. So.
Oh, it's so exciting! We're already building the calendar for next year, and we're trying. Look, it's really quite a challenge because we've got broadcasters that we have to obviously look at, and you look at the matchroom events, and we look at where they're scheduled in the year, and we're also trying to have repeat, points in the year to have a point in the calendar. Then it's about how the World 9-ball rankings come in a bit around that, as well as where they're located. But we're turning ranking events away now. We're having to turn them away. So we're saying, I'm sorry, your prize money's too small, or you're not, or, this doesn't work, that doesn't work. But that's okay. come back to us if for the next one. If you want to make it happen, we still support you, no problem.
Is the Nine Ball Corporation going to have more consistent guidelines to be able to be having that World Nine Ball Tour, stamp? Because we saw most recently the Sharks event in the Philippines. No players list till a few
Yeah.
days early. We saw no online bracket. We saw just the alternate break, 3-point rule. It was a lot of things that we haven't seen in quite some time.
Yeah, no, I respect that, and I think it's thing is that the Sharks event was obviously it's the first time that it was on our World Nine Ball Tour schedule, and you know what? Credit to them, they changed a lot of their rules to become a ranking event, and then it's about compromise early on. And Barry and I both touched upon it last year, and we made a point of these events that are coming on. We want to work with them. We're not just going to stand here and say this is the rules, this is that. And at the time, we were still not testing the rules out, but we were still, enforcing them at these events, and they were still sort of working. So it wasn't right for us to just come in and go, "We're doing this schedule. You have to hit it." It's a working process, and I'd like to think that the promoters who are working with us and are hosting these events, they see the return in being a ranking event with us. They see that exposure, and they see that return of the player fields. So they want to then work with us for future events. And the Sharks team, they're doing great things in Philippines for professional porn, and credit to them, because they do the money matches and they have that as well. But they have the other side, the professional side, as part of the world tour. So all I would say is that for moving forward, there is a World Nine Ball Tour event rule. That's it. They're the rules. Stick by them. So coming in for a ranking event is consistent in response to player lists and brackets like that. I would just say it's their first time, being a professional
I'll let it go.
On the rankings. No, it's a fair point. I mean, we think about the first time that we did a multi-table event.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's easy to go, oh, why have they not done that? But it's a fair point, and we're going to be on top of it. And part of the corporation is about expanding our team, and it's about being on top of these things. But again, we're not taking anything from the promoters. We're working with 20 different promoters for the World Nine Ball Tour. That's building a calendar for players, but those players are trusting in us to set up a calendar for them, and that's a big responsibility, and we take that very seriously. We don't take that lightly. We don't think the players just have to go where we tell them to go. No, the players are everything, and we have to ensure that they are happy. But we also got to juggle everything else all at the same time. So, I take it on board, and there will be a lot more consistency.
All right, well, we're 48 minutes into the conversation, and I've mentioned the WPA twice and haven't gotten to them. So let's jump on into them. All right.
Okay, go on.
We saw the open letter. I've reached out to the WPA. I got the original letter that they sent to you guys that stemmed the response. Okay. So where's that relationship stand right now? From Matchroom to the WPA.
Well, I don't know why you're asking me. It's open. It's pretty much open to everyone. I think that, it was the purpose of the letter to make sure that it was transparent, and we want it to be clear to everyone, where we stand and where everyone does stand. So, our open letter is literally as clear as the relationship is. So there's nothing really more to say on that. And that's why we wanted to, make this public, because we want to be transparent, we want to be clear, and we want to, most importantly, we want to be transparent to the players. That was an open letter to the players, not obviously for our social media, it was for the players. So I can't really say any more about how the relationship is, unless there's a response somewhere that you've got before me, and that's literally how it is.
Is there any active effort on Matchroom's side to start to kind of have relationships with these federations? Are they even open to talking with you guys. I mean, it's you guys are now in Germany. The German Federation is a big federation. How are you guys being received? From that side of things.
I think it just depends who's the federation is. I think the most important is that we are open for everyone, and we are working with everyone. And if we're not working with someone, then that's probably on the other side. Because if you look at the World Nine Ball Tour, we're working with 20 different promoters. When you look at the Spanish Open that just took place, the president of the Spanish Federation was in the ceremony. The invitation and the door is always open at Matchroom. I expressed it in the letter to the WPA because I know that obviously, and as what we expressed in that letter, I really, really hope that they share that to their federations and to their members, because we want to work with them. Why deny them of such an incredible event in their host location? Why deny them of qualifiers? Why deny them of their members or anyone getting free tickets to the event? No, our door is open. I beg that these guys come out and reach out who want to be involved. There's no reason why we can't coexist. I have the utmost respect for the WPA and its federations. I have the utmost respect for them. But the World Professional Nine Ball Pool Corporation must exist in order for nine ball to go mainstream. That's how it is. So we have all of that respect there for them as federations. But this must exist in order for us to make these next steps and to really push nine ball to go mainstream. Otherwise, we're going to be just sitting here paddling away for the next 10 years, and it's just going to grow a little bit. It's not going to just rocket how I want it to and how we foresee it to. So there's no reason why they can't coexist. There's no reason why the German Federation can't come down here for the final trophy presentation. I welcome them. We reached out to them for them to be a part of this event. We did a press release on it. And it's since, I don't really know what happened from there. But our door is always open. So for us, please reach out to us, be a part of this. We can coexist together. The respect is there from our side. We must always think about the players. It's about creating the best opportunities for them. And that's why the World Professional Nine Ball Pool Corporation exists, to create the best opportunities for the players, because that is what will move it forward mainstream. And there's no reason why the players can't tune into TV, be inspired by what they are watching, what they're listening to with the commentators, pick up a cue and become an amateur. Why, that's one amateur that didn't exist. And then when they want to turn fully pro, come to the professional tour.
What is the benefit of having a WPA sanctioned event? This is me and you here. Just me and you talking here.
It's not me and you talking, is
it? Because it's hard for me to see value in having a sanctioned event. It's hard for me to see value in what they do. And listen, I've gotten a conversation with them that I'm hoping it's going to come out soon too. Like, have a candid conversation with them, and I'll ask them the same thing. But like, from your guys' standpoint, what's the benefit of having them involved? What are they bringing to the table that's just elevating what you guys are already doing?
Well, they can produce the future stars of the game. They can look at their events. They can hold amateur tournaments. And like I said, any person who is sat at home watching the European Open Pool Championship, sat at home watching DAZN, sat at home watching Sky Sports, Viaplay, Sport One, and they're watching Skylar Woodward pick up his cue, and he makes this sick shot with and he's on the table and he makes this incredible shot, right? So taking off train of thought. And they sit at home and they go, I want to be Skylar Woodward. I want to be him. And they go and purchase their cue and they go and play in an amateur event. And then when they're ready, they will turn fully professional. So there is a world for the WPA. They are custodian for the amateur game. Of course they are. So that's the journey.
Well, you mentioned the amateur game, but I guess what events are they doing that's amateur in nature?
I don't know.
Because I don't know either. I don't know either. It's hard to it's hard to understand and process it, to be honest with you.
I
Um,
think I think for us, it's just. I know it's easy for everyone to sit there and go, what they're doing for the game. To be honest, that's something that I never really think about. It. We always just think about how to look forward, and we just think, okay, what's missing? What do we need to do in order to take this mainstream? It's not about what people are not doing. That's not what we look at. We just think, okay, World Nine Ball Tour. What do we need to do in order to push this forward? We don't really look at what other people are and aren't doing. It's a case of
listen,
what we need
I
to
love that.
do
You're focusing on
to
yourselves. I
make.
get that.
Of course,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a list of things that people don't like that we're not doing or things like that, but we're focused on creating the best opportunities for the players. That is our sole purpose. I don't want to get bogged down with what benefits and things like that. I just love the fact the overwhelming response that we've received from the players. And you know what? That's what gets me out of bed in the morning, knowing that they are waking up to come and play in our tournaments because they know that they will become a superstar. So I
Yeah, I mean,
say it again.
you can just look at from one year to the next.
Of course,
Yeah, yeah.
look at how the tour has expanded from a year ago, but look at what happens to the winners from over a year ago. The winners, they win differently now. They win in a more fierce competition. They're more passionate about when they turn up. I love it when they lose and they smash their cue on the side of the table. It's brilliant because they're passionate. They want to win. I love it so much. They're all here and they're laughing and they're all friendly. Tomorrow it's going to just turn absolutely into like war
Well,
mode sort of thing. But look, I just want to focus on the positives. As far
all
as
right.
Matchroom are concerned, the door is open to players, to federations, to the WPA. There's no reason why they cannot coexist. But let's be clear, the World Professional Nine Ball Pool Corporation
Say that again
is the
5 times.
No, go away. No.
Let me ask you
It's
a
the
question.
foundation.
This will be my last question on the WPA. Back in December, whenever we talked to Barry, you guys mentioned that it was the lack of recognizing. Oh, there's that guy. There's old Jimmy. Lack of recognizing the world nine ball rankings, and that was a big sticking point. If they came today and said, you know what, we'll recognize the world nine ball tour rankings as the official rankings and pool, would that be something that you guys would then listen to, kind of help bridge that gap between you two?
That's a good question, and I always say that my phone's always available to anyone who wants to pick up the phone and give me a call and say anything like that too. Everyone's got my number who needs to have my number, and I'm sure they can find it if they don't have it. But
It's not always
the
a good
world.
thing, because I got a call from you years ago that was pretty frightening. That
Yeah, you got told off a little bit.
I'm still a
You
little
ruined
shaky
the
about.
Moscone Cup announcement. Oh.
The page blew up though. It was all right.
No, look, listen, my phone's always open to stuff like that. And if they want to reach out, then we're here. The World Nine Ball rankings are recognised by the World Professional Nine Ball Pool Corporation. But again, the door is open with the WPA. And I'll say it again, there's no reason why we can't coexist together.
All right. Well, let's get you out of here. I don't know why that comment came up. Let's get you out of here on the event. European Open starts tomorrow. 256 players.
Yep.
You guys can watch it
200.
all. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, you doing the promo or shall I do it? I don't mind.
No,
you're
you go
doing a pretty
ahead.
good job of it.
No. I'll wait till after. I'll record a reel or something.
Look, 256 players, European Open Pool Championship starts tomorrow, 10 a.m. Gosh, I hope it is 10 a.m. 10 a.m. tomorrow. Double elimination. If you're in America right now, it's going to be DAZN all week. If you are In the UK, it's going to be Matchroom Pool YouTube, Matchroom Multisport YouTube, and then Sky Sports. If you are onshore and you are from any other place in the world, please go to matchroompool.com and you will be able to see where you can watch. We have published who is up first on table 1 and table 2. That is all over Matchroom Pool social media channels. So head over to Instagram now. I mean, I can just go on now and look for you.
All right, we'll post.
Just quickly do that. Let's just quickly do that.
Who's the first matchup up? Can you at least let me know that?
I can type really quick. Right, here we are. Oh my God, we haven't posted it. That's really awkward. I'm really sorry.
just have Matt send me the message. Yeah, please do. Please do.
I don't know if he's right or not.
We need answer.
I'm going to put it on it. Okay, everyone right now, head to Matchroom Pool Instagram. That's all I'm going to say. Right now, head to Matchroom Pool Instagram. It's going to be posted within seconds. I bet it's going to be posted. Oh, yeah. It's going to be posted in minutes, I promise.
Emily, we appreciate you coming on. I know it's hectic, and I know it's a lot of bullshit to kind of sift through, and I'm sure this won't be the last conversation that's a little awkward, but you're always a good sport about everything, honestly. So
listen, we just got to stay positive. It's about the players at the end of the day. We can't get bogged down with the negatives. The fact is that we're in year 2 of the European Open Pool Championship, and the arena looks absolutely top-notch, and we're going to have such incredible quality of 9-ball pool. And each tournament, the quality gets better, the play gets better, the players get just even more, people at home are tuning in for these guys. So let's focus on the positives. This is a fully professional tour. It's an independent professional tour. There's so much excitement now. I'm motivated. I want to play.
Who's your pick to win?
The players.
Who do you think is going to get it?
I've got no idea. No idea.
Give me one.
Couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even tell you.
Give me a guy you think is going to be in the Final Four. Give me one name you think is going to be in the Final Four.
Skylar Woodward. He's going to make another
3 in a row. 3 in a row?
Could you imagine? He'll be absolutely sick if he gets to 3 in a row.
Listen, thanks so much for coming on. Go do your thing. Everybody appreciated you coming on, and we'll have you on soon, I hope, also. We'll see you guys later, and thanks, everyone, for hanging out this afternoon.